Go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bedfordshire Gamers YouTube channel. My name is Smitty6166, and I am joined today by Elthizar. I'm saying that right?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Woo!
Grand Lord of the Grim Dark North. If you really want to call me that. Otherwise, you can just call me Elthizar.
Anyway, we're going to bring you a nice duocast here from the Rift today. On today's game, we have got Rammus, Corki, Brand, Renekton, and Leona versus Lee Sin, Udyr, Blitzcrank, Ezreal, and Zac. And I almost forgot Ezreal's name there. My mind just blanked. It's like, there is a small child. He has blonde hair, and is a pain.
Yeah, especially if they go for the full-on blue build. It's
Yep.
like absolute pain in the ass to deal with.
Although no, it's efficient now because they changed the Blizzard item.
Yeah.
And my Skype is going off and it's starting to annoy me. I'm going to shut that off. There.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed is interesting is that Rammus on our blue team this game is running teleport, so we may see some hilarious teleport home guard powerball Rammus plays. I'm very much hopeful of that. Also, blue team running with 3 ignites because Leona is noted as one of those incredibly aggressive supports where ignite is often a preferable choice.
Yep. And of course, red team going for that red steel nice and early. Blitzcrank making some decent use of his grab to pull the red buff completely clear of the camp as Udyr goes into Tiger Stance mode, clears that up nicely, and leaves the little lizards behind.
Yeah, it's not sure about that because it's usually a good idea just to kill the little minions, then you have the timer on the blue buff, but, you know, it doesn't matter hugely.
No, because it kind of messes up with Rammus' jungle, but doesn't really matter anyway. Rammus is just going to do the same thing. Obviously, blue team knew because that ward was sat there. It was just, alright, they've gone for my red. Fine enough, I'll take yours. Which is going to be a nice fair trade, although we could see a nice little bit of level 2v1 duking here between Rammus and Udyr. Though Rammus might go in, he's going in for the damage. He's trying the best he can to knock as much health as he can off Udyr, forcing a flash out of him, and now can quite happily go and steal this red buff in peace and quiet.
Yeah, standard poke going down in the other lanes. Nothing too notable coming out. Starts are also generally normal. Doran Shield, the perfectly fine item to start on a Zac.
Yeah, give yourself that little bit of extra health, armor, and general all over resistances from being poked out. Of course, we've got the Ezreal, Blitzcrank, Corki, Leona bot lane. Although Corki seems like a strange pick for me.
Potentially. It could work out very well. I don't like Corki at all, but there are some people who can play him very well, so to each their own, I suppose. Actually, you missed out a very cool play coming out top lane. Rammus came in to try and gank Zac, and so Zac said, "Lol, JK, I'm going to slingshot over you as you're powerballing at me."
Okay then. I couldn't rewind time for that one, but I really just cannot be asked. It's a major pain to try and find yourself again a little bit later on. So we'll let that be. We'll let that hide in your minds for a while as Zac tries to give it a little bit of damage out onto Renekton there. And of course using that wonderful passive cell division of his to just go and heal himself up every time he uses an ability. So we wouldn't be surprised to see Spirit Visage come out later and then making that passive almost worthwhile. Although the damage is coming out, the Ignite is ticking away, slice and dice, and off he goes into little boblets. Hopefully will be cleared up nice and quick before he reforms himself. Nope, he's back up, but he's going to die anyway. Maybe? Yes. There we go. First blood picked up there by Renekton.
Yeah, Renekton's one of the. He's actually a really good champion against Zac because his mobility is actually really strong. He can utilize his slice and dice for mobility. He's got a stun.
Yeah. Of course, Udyr now coming in as well, popping out every single soul, showing off that awesome Spirit Guard skin. But sadly, is wide enough to move away before Renekton can secure a second kill. Meanwhile, in bot lane, Rammus is got Blitzcrank on the run. Even Blitzcrank is forced to pop his siren to try and run away. Throws out the grab, but doesn't quite catch Corky, who is just that little bit too far away.
Yeah, overdrive used. That's on a relatively short cooldown. It's only 15 seconds, but it does cost 75 mana.
Yeah, you can see there on the right hand side of your screen, Blitzcrank's mana has dropped considerably after using it. Of course, so he's still going aggressive. He's still waiting for that opportune moment for a grab. Rammus getting very low, fighting the golems. I was expecting to see an executed, but nope. You've denied us the chance, Rammus, to mock you. How dare you?
Well, it would serve him right for taunting everyone earlier, wouldn't it?
Well, then again, he hasn't been too bad so far this game. He's done a couple of good harass ganks. I mean, he's harassed Blitzcrank, he harassed Udyr unsuccessfully. But anyway, the aggression's still coming out in the top lane here as Zach goes heavy onto the aggression onto Renekton, using that chain vest that he's picked up when he went back to give him a little bit of extra armour to help him survive all this, but I don't think really it's going to be enough versus Renekton, who can just quietly sit there and go, lol, don't mind if I slice and dice all the way through you. Of course, this mid lane matchup of Brand and Lee Sin, the kill finally goes over to Brand, letting that ignite and burn of his slowly tick away. Even Lee Sin's shield wasn't enough to save him.
Basically, it was just a good combination of Seer. Maybe he landed Seer, got the stun off, and sent a Pyroclasm into the face along with an Ignite. Not much is going to survive that.
No, I don't even think Renekton can survive that now with that Giant spell. But we shall see how things go. This bot lane is still fairly even. Corky's a tiny bit ahead. He's only just shy of 10 CS ahead of Ezreal, who is happily farming the difference back now and starting to gain some momentum. Of course, neither AD carry, well, I say neither AD carry is yet to be back. Corky has just gone back and picked himself up a Sheen, which is rather odd.
Not for Corky, because Sheen's passive, Dispel Blade passive, will proc every time he uses his Missile Barrage when he hits 6. It's very similar to the Ezreal Q, the Mystic Shot. It actually applies the effect on it hitting. You don't actually require a basic attack to activate the Spell Blade effect.
No, there you go, the more you know. I always reserved it for champions like name's gone right out of my head now. It'll come back to me in a minute. I'll randomly shout out at some point during this cast you watch. But anyway, Renekton's still getting some heavy aggression down onto Zac, even forcing that really short elastic slingshot for him to help farm up minions, and things all settling back down to a farming groove as blue buffs now get handed over to the mid laners.
Yeah, Lee's gonna have to wait a little while, as it took quite a bit in the early stages for Udyr to actually pick up his blue buff, but it will respawn shortly.
Yep, Zac finally gets torted down in the top lane, forcing out the Let's Bounce, but the Ignite is going to be enough, and both Rammus and Zac go down, so a nice 1-for-1 trade there.
Yeah, the kill on that get again went to Renekton though, so he's starting to get really scary. And as a person who plays Renekton a fair bit myself, when you get 3-4 kills on Renekton, you are just hell to deal with.
Yep, and whilst we were discussing about that, Lee Sin goes down to Brand yet again in the mid lane there. You'd think actually with Lee Sin being blind, he'd tell when heat is getting hotter and when it's getting cooler.
That gives me a really, really funny image of him walking around with Brand going, colder, colder, getting warmer, little warmer, little warmer.
Come, let me give you a hug. I can't stop laughing now that you put that image in my head as well. Anyway, in the bot lane we now got the aggression coming out from Corky, popping that machine gun as Ezreal replies with Mystic Shots. Both have hit 6, both have their ultimates ready. Rammus is now coming in as well with that Powerball. Will it be enough to catch Ezreal? Nope, the taunt comes out though. Still not enough. Corky tries to get the attention onto Blitzcrank, and Blitzcrank gets the grab off onto Rammus. Rammus just barely survives as Corky starts firing off those missiles and gets a free Blitzcrank and still poking down Ezreal and doesn't quite connect for that kill.
That last missile barrage could easily have killed Ezreal had it landed.
It was all just luck and skill. And that was really lucky for Rammus then. I just noticed out of the corner of my screen a Mystic Shot come flying across.
That was actually
That was
actually a true shot barrage. It just slightly missed Rammus in the brush as he was backing out.
Yeah, meanwhile in the mid lane though, Lee Sin finally gets his revenge onto Brand with the help of Udyr. Udyr now starting to make his mark as that really fearsome jungler that came back in at the start of this current season of LoL. Although he's been really in and out of it lately, or was it just me?
No, because of the fact he has no solid engagement, Udyr is very much a flavour of the month champion. I would say he's good, but you have to have the right sort of combo of other champions to make him work.
Yep. And meanwhile in the top lane, the Renekton Zac duel still carries on. Zac has got his passive, I believe. It should be off cooldown. Let me click on Zac. Yes, his passive is off cooldown, but Renekton's still just quite happily slashing up everything that stands in his way with that massive crescent blade of his. Although, I've just realised something funny, and you probably know it as well. Have you seen the joke of AD Sona?
AD Sona?
Yeah, it's basically Renekton in a wig. Seriously, take Renekton's crescent blade, put some strings across it, give him a blonde wig, but AD Sona.
Oh god. Wow.
It's true though. It works. It could be a skin.
That's the scary thing though. Yeah.
Right, do it. Cross-dressing Renekton, you know you want to do it. Appeal to a wider audience. Oh well. A little bit of aggression now coming out into mid lane here as both junglers and mid laners trade blows back and forth, but nothing really coming of it other than damage on this middle turret, and Lee Sin getting happily burnt there. The dot though allowing the turret aggro to focus onto Brand, and that's pretty much it from the mid lane. As Zac gets popped up in the top lane, Renekton pulling a bit of tower aggro, so Zac has now lost his passive for, what, the next minute or so? I believe it is.
I believe the cooldown on Zac's passive is actually much greater than that, but I'm not sure. It's 5 minutes, I think.
Oh,
5 minute cooldown. It is a very long cooldown, so that's
yes.
It's basically the big thing for Zac is if you don't waste that.
Yeah, if you don't use it needlessly. Meanwhile, though, Brand gets beaten down by Udyr as that Pyroclasm Burn isn't quite enough to take out Lee Sin as Rammus comes in to try and save the day, but sadly he is not a speeding hedgehog just yet.
Why does Rammus not have a Sonic skin?
He needs one. He's got a Bowser skin from Mario. King Koopa.
All the way back from beta.
The awesome skin, the only skin I would probably ever get for Rammus if I decided to get him. Although we've been focused so much on the top and mid lanes, this bot lane still hasn't really gone very far. The CS is still in Corki's favour. The only kill so far has been in Corki as he picks up that second one there on Blitzcrank. Obviously being a bit unlucky there, but I suppose that Leona with all those stuns in her arsenal really helpful as the True Shot barrage comes out and gets Leona.
Yeah, well aimed this time.
Yep.
Straight on the mark. Ezreal looking to go aggressive on Corki there actually, but
no, there's not quite enough there.
His placement was slightly off on the arcane shift, I would say.
Although it is a pain in the heck ability to land. Because you go, right, I want to go here, and you put your cursor down a little bit too far. At least I do anyway, it always seems to annoy me. As Brand starts pinging like mad that mid is missing. As does bot lane in reply. I love it how random games people just ping for the heck of it. Alright blue team, we get it. Enough with the pings. Oh, and now Rammus is doing it as well as he power balls in, trying to get himself a free Zac, but Zac being clever enough to duck underneath his turret, out the way and into safety. course, that Sunfire Cape now is going to help him farm up a little bit, but it's not really going to help versus Renekton and Rammus poking quite happily on your tower as he elastic slingshots in, and Udyr comes in to help as well and just forces the duo scary lizard team away. In fact, would you call Rammus a lizard or a reptile?
He's definitely a reptile, but I don't know.
Although, oh, and completely missing the fact that Brand has got a kill onto Ezreal in that bot lane.
Yeah, Ezreal used his cleanse. I think it removed the ignite effect, but didn't remove the blaze.
Yep, as Corki goes in for that nice bit of early damage, Blitzcrank really just helping him out there. It was very nice of him.
Yeah, he was pretty much dead anyway, so try and get as much damage down as you can.
Yep, but sadly wasn't enough as Lee Sin does a flying kick over the wall there on Renekton, but it's not quite enough damage to be worthwhile as both Renekton and Rammus now go full on to aggression. Ignite is ticking away. It's not quite enough though to kill off Zac as Lee Sin finally picks up Renekton and actually gets a nice bit of gold for doing so.
Yes, what I find funny though is the fact of how Lee Sin got the kill. He kicked Rammus into him.
Well, why not?
Kicked Rammus into the tower, and well,
there goes the end of
Rammus
Rammus.
is very spiky.
He's a moving spike wall, but of course Rammus.
Yeah, it's a rather nasty thought of getting impaled on those, but still.
What's even nastier is getting impaled on those as he's powerballing. You just become a small smear across the map. Anyway.
Away from these grim thoughts.
Yes, of course, blue team picked up Dragon number 1. They've also picked up turret number 2 in their favour, as red team secured that top lane turret as you just saw on your screens there. So things are starting to turn around. That gold is now back in the favour of the blue team at 22,500 to 21,800. And a current 8-6 kill lead as well. And these items now are starting to look rather nasty.
Yeah, the scary fact was that for a considerable time, home guard play.
Oh, and there we go. Ezreal goes down. Can we see Rammus get a second kill for Corki? Yes, we do. Corki gets a nice double kill. So, anyway.
The teleport home guard play coming out right there. Oh, wonderful. Anyway, yes, looking at the items, Renekton against Zac going fairly similar-ish.
Yep.
Fight's actually going down there.
Yeah, it is a massive fight going on. Renekton forcing to pop his ult to try and get out of the way, and Udyr really not letting him get away as Zac finally uses those elastic fists for something decent. Other than that, to slingshot him away from danger and picks himself up a nice little kill. Meanwhile, though, Brand is doing a fantastic job of pushing up this mid lane and forcing Lee Sin back even further. Excuse me, cold is still trying to kill me.
With Corki and Leona nearby, they're trying to get something, but Lee is sat under his tower. There's not really much I think they could do.
Oh, you never know. He might do some sort of Bronze 5 play and Sonic and wave himself in.
Or he might do some pro plays and ward jump away.
True, but we'll see where things go. Of course, Zac backing away there in that mid lane after pushing it down a wee bit. Not really getting a huge amount of damage on the tower. But obviously just recalling to help defend this mid lane a wee bit here as Corki, Brand, Leona and Rammus try their very best to taunt something to happen. Even using a Powerball recall there to try and taunt Blitzcrank into a grab.
Would a Blitzcrank grab cancel Powerball? I'm not sure. I haven't seen Rammus around that much recently.
I suppose really wouldn't, because it would just pull Rammus towards you and it would just like hit Blitzcrank.
Fair enough. So I know that Thresh's hook is an official stun, but I'm not sure if Blitz's is. It does say stun.
Yeah. Well, of course, though, 9 times out of 10 you do grab and then fist and pull someone in, knock him up and completely ruin their day.
Very, very true.
Anyway, Corki now coming back in with a Trinity Force, which is a very nice item for him now. All them stats.
The only problem I have with that is that for all the different stats it gives, it doesn't give a massive amount of each. So he'll benefit quite a lot from things like that, but I wouldn't specifically say that it was a great first item.
Well, it is very expensive items, so you might as well get the initial build for it out of the way. Meanwhile, the Rammus double buffed up with Renekton doing their level best here to pick up a free Zac on the tower, to which they do as he destroys himself into little boblets, which Renekton could probably pick up in no short time at all now with all that extra damage with the Sunfire Cape. Attacking the tower masterfully as Zac comes back in with the Let's Bounce, just barely surviving, and gets a double kill.
My. That was very impressive. I think Renekton Ram was getting a little bit cocky there, actually. Renekton was stunned at the tower for way too long.
So I just had to close my mouth then. I was actually gawping at how well that double kill went off. I was expecting a dead Zac, not a double kill Zac.
Yes, you've always got to be very careful around Zac. His damage potential is incredibly high. Actually, some would say unreasonably so, due to the fact that he scales so well with items like Haunting Guys, like a bit of ability power, but the Magic Pen, because his abilities deal almost exclusively magic damage, and if you put a few points into Unstable Matter, that's max health magic damage. So the spell pen will actually affect that.
Yeah, it also sacrifices things like Sunfire Cape as well, allows that extra bit of magic damage to go through. As I found out the other day.
Yes, indeed. One thing I do really love in the improved spectator UI is they've actually put in Dragon and Baron timers.
Yep. I haven't actually seen a Baron timer yet as Jack decides to jump over the wall and tries to scare everyone away. He's now getting to be a big boy with the Sunfire Cape and the Haunting Guys. How much health is he on now? He's on 2,500 health. So he's not quite as big as he can be. Although I still think Cho'Gath can be bigger. But only just. Trying to work it out in my head.
After much nomming.
Yeah. Many noms and then hugify.
Ah, yes.
And then it's like, I can't see anybody. All I see is Cho'Gath face. And there we go, Lee Sin getting a nice little sight there onto Rammus. Trying to scope out what's going on. But sadly now it's all Pineapple. We might actually see him team fight, which means team fight UI.
Yeah, it turns out I was actually incorrect looking at Corki. Apparently Missile Barrage does not consume the Trinity Force proc.
Really? I'll bear
Apparently
that in
not.
mind. I'll bear that in mind next time we're doing ARAM. As things start kicking off here, Blitzcrank throws out the ground, knocks up Renekton. They are all focusing down the sort of wrong target as three members all die at once. Ezreal's going to go down now to make it 4. As the only person to die is Bran. Can the 4 of them between them be enough to take out Zac? It looks like it is going to be so. Zac has popped, giving up the ace.
Just as Dragon spawns as well.
Yeah, that was a well-timed dragon fight there for that blue team. That went
Looks like they're going to abandon it though. I feel like they're probably much more concerned with pushing out the mid lane.
Well, you might as well. I mean, Dragon can wait for as long as it takes. You can push down the lanes in the meantime and actually put some pressure on.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Because whilst the team's protecting their inhibitor, you get a free dragon. They're not going to come and challenge you. What's everyone now going to back away? We might see some more buys coming in. Although Lee Sin now back with a Ravenous Hydra, which seems very odd. But again, mid lane Lee Sin, I'm guessing you just build attack rather than AP.
Yes. Well, it looks like the red team are actually going to be the one starting off the dragon. I'm not sure if it's the wisest place to be.
We'll see, they got heavily battered down last time. They might be able to survive a little bit this time. As they get the dragon kill there from Udyr's Smite. Everyone now trying to hunt down a Brand, but the Fireball of Doom goes around and starts bouncing around quite happily. Blitzcrank is remarkably low, but goes down finally to Renekton's burn of the Sunfire Cape. Brand goes down as well. Ezreal also dead. As we can see, it's going to be a 4v3 fight. Renekton forced to pop the ultimate to try and keep himself alive. Corki Valkyrieing away, trying to lay down as much fire as he can, but it's not enough to kill off the Zac Udyr combos. Rammus comes in powerballing. Renekton's still coming in with the ultimate. It wears off. He's got so little damage now. And the short slingshot from Zac is enough to get the kill. The Let's Bounce is popped as well. Gets himself a triple kill. Will it be enough for a quadruple, or is Udyr going to finally clean this mess up? He gets off the stun. The slingshot comes out. Will we get the Fists of Doom as well? Nope. The kill goes straight over to Udyr as a true shot barrage comes out from Ezreal. Bad Ezreal.
Wow. This is actually a very, very close game. As you can see now, despite the fact that the blue team are currently, I'm going to wait a second, 4-2 up in towers, the gold lead is actually now in favour of the red team, despite also a 2-kill disadvantage for our red team.
Yeah, and the items are still proving to be very, very strange here. Trinity Force on Ezreal, I thought you would have just gone Blade of the Rune King. Or something of that ilk, as Blitzcrank appears to have just given up there in the mid lane.
I'm assuming probably a disconnect or an AFK, but...
Or just sitting there typing, raging... not raging, celebrating the recent victory.
Who knows? Honestly, who knows?
But anyway, this has been quite a good game so far.
Yeah, it has indeed. Just looking at the items right now, we can see fairly new pickups. Renekton looking towards, as far as I can tell, Rabadon's WoW. For some reason, I always get Warmog's armor and Rabadon's Death Cap mixed up for no apparent
Warmog's
reason.
Death Cap.
Yeah. Anyway, so Renekton looking towards building a Warmog's, and Zac recently finishing off Spirit Visage, as you predicted. Just give that nice bonus stacking on his blobs.
Yep, keep yourself going.
Yeah. As you stated for Lee Sin, he's got Ravenous Hydra. He has picked up Brutalizer as well quite recently. Udyr has got Locket of the Iron Solari and Spirit of the Ancient Golem. So it means that he can safely run mobility boots.
Yeah, you can just be a big tanking force across the battlefield as some aggression comes out there at the top jungle with Lee Sin and Ezreal in a dire position as Rammus powerballs in. Renekton not going to be too far behind, ready for that slice and dice combo, and there we go. Goes off magnificently. Could pick up a free Lee Sin as Lee Sin gets a free Rammus. Leona picks up the Lee Sin kill. Ezreal finds himself a nice little brand, and Leona is going to go down to Ezreal securing himself a nice little double kill there. The red team now rallying around. They're going to find themselves a Corki. They want to shut down that AD carry before all that crazy damage comes out. And now it is a 4-on-1-man chase for Renekton. He is going to go down horribly and giving Zac the ace.
As I said, Zac, although he is a tank, he has so much damage potential. And that's only with Haunting, guys. He has 56 ability power right now, and yet he's dealing so much damage with Stretching Strike, that's the one, and the Unstable Matter. And also, surprisingly, so I didn't realise that Elastic Slingshot dealt so much damage, actually.
Oh yeah, it deals X amount per charge or something like that, wasn't it? It kind of works like Piercing Arrow and abilities like that, but the longer you charge it, the more damage it did, up to a point.
Does it?
I think it does. I know it's the longest jump in the game, because you can go from Baron Pit to Red Buff in one jump.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. As you can see in the top left, Dragon's going to be respawning in approximately a minute and a half. The kills actually now been flipped onto their head, 20-19 in favour of our red team.
Yep, red team doing a very good job of rallying back from their earlier defeats, as Zac is going to go down rather heroically, popped into Bloblet, as 3 members of the blue team will happily clear him up in no time at all, maybe? Nope, there we go, Rammus gets the shutdown, and Corki Valkyrie's in and fires off the machine gun for good measure. Double tap.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Looks like Corki a little bit gun happy right now. That use of Gatling gun not at all necessary. However, Lee Sin split pushing like a boss in bottom lane, taking out that bottom outer tower, meaning that the towers are currently 4 for 3 in favour of the blue team.
Yep, and we can see blue team now is going to start working around this Baron, so we might even see the new Baron timer when it comes up. I wonder what the portrait's going to be for it, actually.
Red team currently have no vision on this, so if they can nuke it down fairly quickly, then I'm sure that could.
Although they have that uncanny sense that everybody does, so it's going down nice and quick as Blitzcrank pulls in Rammus. It may not be the brightest of ideas, but they do get the nice little kill onto him now as they all now collapse in onto Renekton, forcing him away. They're going to try and zone out the AD carry now of Corki. They're trying so hard to land that damage that they desperately need, but it's not going to be enough as Udyr finally gets shut down. The machine gun doing so much damage out of Corki's Rufflecopter as Renekton goes down as well. Blitzcrank gets shut down. Corki goes down. Leona is going to be the last to fall. So even though the blue team got the Baron, they got aced.
Lee Sin becoming an incredibly potent damage threat. He's recently picked up Black Cleaver, so he is going to be shredding through pretty much anyone he comes up against. Not to mention the fact that Resonating Strike is a execute, so it deals bonus damage based on the target's missing health.
Yep, and now the full-on lane aggression comes in. The split push comes in with Ezreal and Lee Sin pushing that mid lane in rather rapidly as Rammus powerballing home guard boots speeds in faster than a speeding bullet, gets a free Lee Sin kill. Can he pick off Ezreal, who is Foster Flash? Can he? Yes, he does. He manages to Arcane Shift away, but gets taunted and will probably go down. And there we go. Blitzcrank not quite there to save his little buddy.
Despite his best efforts, Ezreal was just not fast enough.
Nope, Ezreal, you need to get something on your boots like Alacrity or Pharaoh is actually quite good for an AD carry, I find.
Yes, actually that's a good point. That, or you can just go for your standard items. Static Shiv is maybe not quite as good on Ezreal as, say, a Phantom Dancer, but depends on how you're building him.
Yep, and apologies for that. I need a drink rather desperately because my throat is killing me from this cold. Oh, that's so much better. Oh.
Just looking around, items completed. Brand going to be incredibly scary. Has Rabadon's Death Cap. Has Leandria's Torment. Got a lot of damage potential. Zac has 2 Giant's Belts in his inventory currently. Along with...
Well, why not? You just face tank for everybody. Just stand in the way. As Rammus picks up the dragon there for the blue team. So that's 2-1 dragons now for the blue team? If I remember
I
right.
believe so, yes.
Pen on a piece of paper next time. But anyway, Rammus now powerballing around trying to find himself a Blitzcrank, but nope! Instead, Brian picks up Lee Sin as now Blitzcrank nearly grabs Rammus to bring him into the tower, and Udyr just humming around with those bare hands ready. And there we go, nice little fight breaks out in the mid lane. Zac, even though he's got double Giant Belt, he hasn't got any sort of damage resistance, so he dies horrifically. Udyr is in a similar sort of situation, and he's going to go down in no time at all. Renekton really not giving a damn about the tower, and gives the assist kill over there for Brand. It could be a nice 5-for-no trade as Ezreal is forced to back away. They're going to pick up this mid tower and the mid inhibitor in no time at all. Oh, and True Shot does nothing.
Team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
Well, it may possibly force Renekton to back off, but it's still going to be a lot of heavy pushing coming out from the blue team. I mean, rightly so.
Yep, Lee Sin diving in now, getting himself a nice revenge kill on Renekton. Brand still throwing out the damage, trying his best to kill off Ezreal as he cleanses off 1 burn, but he can't cleanse off a second as Rammus powerballs himself into victory and nearly executed by the towers. Oh, so close to death.
Zac's having none of that.
Yeah, I've just seen him appear out of nowhere. The damage comes out and he gets himself a nice shutdown. That's going to be really scary, depending on what he's going to finish with those 2 Giants belts.
Udyr recently finishing Wit's End, which is a very nice item. Can give him a good amount of attack speed, a little bit of bonus damage due to the bonus magic on basic attack passive. Also, the basic attack steal magic resist from the opponent, which is very nice if you're in the presence of someone like Zac, with as I've previously stated, the percentage health component which you get from Unstable Matter.
Yep. Well, I've actually been racking my brains over those Giants belts, and I can think of only one item, well, a couple of items you can build from that. You can go Warmogs with one, and the other one can go to Riley's.
Riley's would be good. I almost... Actually, no, Riley's would be good in this situation. I would say Randuin's Omen is a very good item as well, but considering the other team, I don't see how it would be particularly amazing. That not many of the blue team are actually attack speed based. If anyone, it would only be Corki.
Who is really going attack speed as such? Is just going for pure outright damage.
And as you can see, just next to the score markers, it's approximately a minute and a half till the Baron respawns.
Yep. And it's actually a pretty funky portrait. Don't know if it's a really good portrait. It looks rather silly. It looks like some sort of cross-dresser and just got a bit too far with the makeup. I'm sorry, I'm terrible for this today. This is what Beecham's and Lebsip does to you. You start seeing weird things as a little bit of a fight breaks out in this mid lane. Renekton getting all the aggression put onto him. Leona tries her best to stun everyone down. Rammus throwing out the tools to try and keep Zack's attention, but the short bit of elastic string tries to get him to safety. Both Udyr and Lee Sin go down. Zack is going to die as well. He's not quite able to pull himself back together. Brand also died there. The true shot barrage from Ezreal tried to close the gap. The rocket from Corki not quite making contact though. They are going to get a free kill onto Blitzcrank. And Ezreal is going to run away like a little baby to his fountain.
4-for-1 trade there. This could actually be enough for the blue team to close out the game.
Yep, as Ezreal gets the shutdown out of Corki, he pulls a little bit too much turret aggro. And the same for Rammus. Yep, Rammus goes down as well. So really, Ezreal could quite happily back now if he felt silly enough to. Silly enough to, but that siege minion is something to worry about.
Yeah, that super minion very nearly took down that bottom Nexus tower. Baron has just respawned. It's still about a minute on the Dragon, however.
Yep, and Leona is just going around, double checking every single wall, making sure everything is all neat and tidy, ready for her team to come along and pick up Baron Nashor, who's sat in his pit, happily enjoying this game.
I don't know why, but if I've ever thought of Baron to speak, he's always with the same sort of accent as Gentleman Cho'Gath. So he sat there like drinking tea and speaking with a very upper class accent.
By
I don't know why. It
Jove.
is. By Jove, this is an absolutely stunning game. What?
I can't laugh. I can't speak now because I'm laughing so hard at this idea. Anyway, as the red team now happily clear up Baron, does the blue team have any idea? Nope, Leona, you have failed at your duty to scout on ahead, so Brand is going to hang around being the vanguard of this as Rammus backdoors from absolutely nowhere. Teleport rushing in. He's going to pick up that Nexus turret has everybody backs to try and take him out. Wow. Well, there is no more Rammus.
A heroic effort from Rammus, but I feel like maybe not the smartest thing he could have done. Very well done for him taking out that other Nexus tower, but considering the red team's inhibitor
Has just
respawned, they've still got to do a bit of pushing to actually close out the game.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that I couldn't help but laugh at just the speed everybody came back in, especially Blitzcrank. That waddle at super speed just looks silly. I think it's even worse than Nautilus with Home Guard.
Oh, I was about to say, have you seen Home Guard Nautilus? That's just silly.
That's just him jumping around as everybody huddles up around Blitzcrank to give him that lovely fireball present from Brand as Corki comes diving in as well, really wrecking down Udyr there with that machine gun damage and flashes out the way of Lee Sin's Sonic Wave, so Lee Sin can't quite make the flying kick stick as Ezreal gets shut down, and in fact Ezreal and Brand shut down each other there, so a nice little 1-for-1 on their part as Lee Sin keeps on kicking, diving across like some sort of crazy Bruce Lee in his prime.
Renekton trying to push down the inhibitor. It's ending up in a 1v1 against Zack though, which may not end up going well for him, as he did actually pick up the Randuin's Omen.
Yeah, it's obviously a well-made choice there by Zack. It'll be interesting to see whether that, well, the unused giant spell goes as Lee Sin just goes down off to the edge of my screen there.
That may well have been the reason that Renekton decided to fall back off the inhibitor. Just pick up an easy kill. He was fairly low on health anyway.
Yep. As the Let's Bounce comes out to try and slow everybody down. Rammus trying to help Renekton take down the massive blob that is Zac now. But sadly not quite enough. The grab from Blitz picks up a minion. Not quite what he was aiming for, but Renekton is going to go down if he's not careful. Yep. Zac firing.
Coming!
Definitely that case there from Zac, landing right in Renekton's back, ruining his day. And that health regen, Jesus.
These jerks just don't know when to quit. That's 21 health per tick.
That's insane. I've actually just looked as well. It's according to the stat sheet, it's 223 per 5. That's just about the singe I cast with Tempe last week. By the time this video goes out. That is absolutely insane. Meanwhile though, Rammus gets the taunt onto Zac and Brand picking up the kill there. Continuing on with the aggression, he's hunting down Udyr. Everybody might break down onto Ezreal. Well, Brand's definitely breaking down onto Ezreal, trying to close the gap as Corki goes for Blitzcrank. Udyr and Rammus have their little gentleman's chat out in the jungle, and both of them are, well, no, they were going to part ways, but Rammus isn't going to let him go. But Udyr with the jukes gets, well, was going to get away. Gets stunned out by Leona and Rammus combined, and that's him dead.
Duke City apparently not a destination on this train.
Nope. There is not enough blinks in, well, not enough movement for Udyr to do that. Although LeBlanc is fantastic for jukes. But anyway, back and forth aggression still coming out here. True Shot Barrage comes out. Doesn't quite pick up Corki, which I think was Ezreal's intended target, as Rammus goes very low on health there. You see him flying kicks in and kills himself a Brand, and Leona not too far behind Ezreal picking up that one. And things now really going back in favour of the red team as they try and push this game through.
You thought Zac's health regen was crazy before. He's just finished a Warmog's armor.
Oh sweet god, where's his key? T. Actually, it's not that high at the minute. According to the stat sheet, it's 105 per 5. But I don't think it's updated properly. We'll see what his health gets. Nope, still hasn't changed.
Well, he's regenerating 38 health back per tick, so...
That's an insane amount of health. He's also very big. Where's Lulu in this game when we need her? Anyway, aggression coming out in the mid lane whilst we're too focused on Zac. As a kill comes out there to Blitzcrank, Lee Sin forced to jump away, but he might have just... Nope, didn't quite buy himself enough time. He still gets run over by Rammus. As Renekton comes diving through there with that slice and dice, Ezreal forced to blink away. It might not be enough as Zac himself is forced to retreat, even using the elastic slingshot to get over the wall.
As well, flashing in fear of that Rammus. He does not want to get taunted at this point in the game.
Nope, I think this might be it though. The blue team is all, well, nearly all here. Leona's running up as well as Brand. As, my god, Zac that Let's Bounce is huge. That is insanely huge. But anyway, Rammus gets shut down as well as elastic slingshot comes out. He's trying to pick himself off a Renekton. Not quite enough. But Ezreal picks up the kill on Renekton there as Corki is sort of left to run away quite freely. But nope, Udyr comes in, throws out the stun. That second kill comes down. Brand and Leona, the only two left around. Leona manages to force Zac to pop, but she's in a really bad position here as 3 members of the red team all crowd around her. They start locking her down, get the kill onto her. Now it's all down to Brand, who just got annihilated.
Very good time to land the grab for Blitzcrank.
It would be nice actually as well, if you click on a person that died, you get to see, you know, like when you die in League, you can see how your death happened.
Yes.
If you could see that as well, I want to see how fast people die. As far as the game's concerned. Because that was under a second.
Yeah, he got bursted down very quickly.
But anyway, the red team now happily pushing down this mid lane inhibitor, so they're going to pick that up in no time at all, pick up the inhibitor, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went all the way onto the Nexus towers to try and close this game out, even though Udyr is quite low, and Blitzcrank and I was going to say Zack's not too far behind, but Zack's on like 5k health.
Yes, when you have 5,000 health, you generally just don't care.
Percentages doesn't matter. Meanwhile, though, Blitzcrank and Zack are roaming around the Baron pit, but everybody is probably going to back away from this, and the blue team might pick it up. Currently, no one has. Oh, red team does have vision of the dragon, and the blue team are going to go walking in. Rammus with that oracles is going to clear it out. The blue team place their own sight wall to double check to make sure everything's going to be okay. And Blitzcrank progs down a ward just to double check how Baron is doing. And another one, and that's just going to get cleared out as well. And Baron not quite stolen away there. Rammus picking up that kill nice and quick there. Brand picking up the kill onto Blitzcrank as Renekton goes very low. His ultimate has been popped to try and keep him alive, though I think when it wears off he may actually die from the missing health. Maybe? Nope. It just survives.
I didn't even realise you lost health when Renekton's ultimate ended. I
think you do anyway. I only played Renekton once, and that was when I first played LoL. Way back. And my health always seemed to disappear the minute I ended my ultimate. It'd be like, yes, I have a good chunk of health, and then I have no health. Okay. But anyway, I'm sure someone in the comments will happily put me to rights, as Corki, now with a blue and Baron buff, is just going to keep nuking down Dragon there, constantly firing off those rockets.
Blue team has slain the dragon.
From his... I think it's when he crits he fires off a rocket, doesn't he?
yes.
Yeah. Because I know Varus's bow gets a little bit bigger, which is kind of cool. But anyway, everything's starting to settle down. Not really a lot happening, so we could always have a nice little bit of banter. So who do you think you're going to name as champion of the match?
For his contribution to his team, and even if they may not win at this point, I'd like to say that they're still in the game very much so. They are. But the last couple of team fights haven't gone in their favour. I'm definitely going to say that my champion of the match so far has to be Sleemless, playing Zack. He has just had the biggest effect on the game for a single champion. He's been there in every fight. His Let's Bounces have usually been perfectly timed to disrupt as many people as possible in the fights. Try and keep his carries alive.
Yep, as another fight is potentially on the breakout here. This could be the fight that decides it all. As Zack finally goes in, and like you said, that Let's Bounce, disrupting everybody, focusing down Corki there. He is going to go down though. Everybody focused him beautifully, and he is going to melt away into little bloblets as everybody starts chasing their focus. Blitzcrank has been left alone down there underneath the map, but Corki is just going to keep on the aggression and picks himself up a nice sweet little kill there. Even the turret is not quite enough, and everybody on the red team but Ezreal goes down. Even Brandy's going to keep on the aggression there, trying to zone him out, and nope, he gets caught out by the Laser of Doom and gives Ezreal a nice little double buff. But sadly, it's not going to be enough. This Nexus is going to go down, and that is GG!
Final scores for the game: 9 for 6 in towers, advantage for the blue team. 5,000 gold, the approximate lead. 46 to 44 in kills. So actually, it was a really close game throughout.
Yep, it was certainly very back and forth. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the cast. Remember to like, favourite, subscribe, and all that YouTube jazz. Do you have a YouTube channel that you want to plug whilst we're here?
Not currently. If I can finally upgrade my computer, then I definitely will, but I think it's probably for the best if I just stay behind the scenes for now.
Fair enough then, my good friend. I will see you all next time, and I hope to cast with you again this time. It's been fantastic.
Oh, most definitely, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, if you're watching this video, fantastic. Thank you for watching that cast all the way through. Just to say that we have a Patreon campaign going on for this channel. Any donations made actually go direct to upgrading machines and things here at Beverage Gamers to make sure we give you the best content possible. So be sure to go check it out, donate what you can, and we'll see you again later.